I decided to make a quick video of the Space Engineer Survival world that a friend and I, well, a couple of friends of mine, and I, have been working on for quite a while now, a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months. We actually started this on a public server. It was getting really laggy, so we just saved the game and quit and hosted ourselves. So this is roughly where we first spawned in, that asteroid way down the distance, right in the center of the screen, kind of like a donut. The people that were on the server already had actually half-built a space station down there. I'll show you it shortly. So I decided to aim for the big asteroid in the center. That's where we built our first base. There's bits and pieces of ships floating throughout the place at the moment. I also cranked my settings up, so forgive the frame rate. I just wanted to show it off in all its glory. So this was our original base here. Decent asteroid, quite large. You know, it's kind of sheltered and there's a lot of resources around. The problem is that it is an open crater, and there was once a thriving base here. We had, where I'm looking now, both lifeboats stacked one on top of the other. We built up refineries and so on around it. This area down here, where there's a couple of pieces of broken metal left, there used to be like a service area here, where this platform is, with reactors and gravity generators, and this used to be a med bay, quite a large med bay. Now it's a couple of pieces of scrap metal. We had ships parked all around here, not just ships that we'd salvage, but ones we built as well. See our little fuel mine over here, where we've tested out some of our digging machinery. So we had quite a thriving little base going, and then the patch came that added in meteors, and we decided to turn them on just for a bit of fun. Well, that bit of fun rapidly turned into us trying to pack up our shit and leave as fast as possible, because this crater turned out to get meteored every couple of minutes. So all the structures we built here got blown up. We did try and move stuff. We did successfully move several ships, including all the ones we built, and a couple we salvaged. The base buildings were not so lucky. One was completely smashed into pieces, the other one kind of drifted off into space and is probably still out there somewhere. Don't know where it is anymore because the reactor got hit by a meteor and now the beacon isn't working. But we packed all our shit up and left. This still gets hit by meteors all the damn time, so I've got to be careful around here. I'll quickly show you down to the pubby base that they built down here. This was actually the first area we kind of realised there were other players. There were about, I want to say 10 or 12 rescue ships scattered around this asteroid, where they'd obviously parked every time they respawned. So we did sort of shuttle runs, salvaging them, taking them back to our main asteroid. Now, it's been hit a couple times by meteors on this end, and deconstructed a bit by myself and Mech on this end, but they were building a platform here. It seems like a decent enough spot until you realise that meteors actually generally come from the direction of the sun, and that's the sun there. So most of this end was getting pounded by meteors. That asteroid wasn't really protecting them. Not much left here now. We decided to not completely deconstruct that because A, it's quite a distance to haul shit back and forth, and B, it's kind of maybe a useful spot to stage from in future. So that one there, that big asteroid, that was our original base. You can see there's a military transport hidden under it. We've been trying to park some of our salvage ships that we can't fit elsewhere under asteroids where they're not as exposed, but they still get hit constantly, so we have to run out and do expedient repairs every now and then. There's more ships parked around here. But what we did was, I decided to try and push our main crate of shit into the back of a mine layer. Unfortunately it didn't work, and I accidentally battered all our worldly possessions off into deep space, never to be seen again. So we basically had to start anew, aside from the ships we already had. A bit of a hiccup there as the game loads. So this is our new base. We've got a braking yard out the front of our asteroid for just salvage ships that we want to tear up for parts. This is our command ship, salvage transport we've been retrofitting. It's been kind of fucked up by meteors, so Mech's been in the process of repairing it. This is an older save, but you can see it's taken quite a bit of damage there. So this is our new base. I found this asteroid while sort of buzzing around looking for things to salvage. It's got lots of resources, it's sheltered. Meteors never come in this area. They do come in from the other end, but not very often. So I'll take you through in order of what happened. We brought this thing in. This was just a regular rescue ship. Obviously we parked it here, got it all kind of set in a semi-permanent position. This originally governed our gravity, which is why it's at a cockeyed angle. Originally that was up, now it's not because the gravity's running off that. But we've got 2 refineries, 2 assemblers, a bunch of storage. It's also good for just having somewhere to go. Once that was here, we moved in our other ships. So this was the first ship we actually built ourselves, this little red miner here. Just a little tiny thing for sort of detail work. The next ship we built was this blue one, which we had a few adventures with. It got out of control because the server was lagging and careened off into space, smashing into things. We only just managed to get it back and repair it. So this is sort of a more heavy-duty miner. This was built before conveyors were actually a thing, so it needs a serious retrofit. Both of them do. The next ship after that was this little attack ship. This is before I realized heavy armor on small ships is basically pointless. It accelerates like a slug. It barely moves, actually. It takes a long time to get up to speed. So this is sort of what we use to chase down AI ships. And then the next thing I built was this. This was going to be a tunneling machine. Originally I wanted the blue mining ship to be a tunneling machine, but because it has the braking thrusters on the side as well as the cargo container underneath hanging outside, it actually brakes itself as it digs. So I built this thing instead, which is an actual tunneling machine, and for some unholy reason the cockpit is missing. Looks like it's been hit by something. So when Met gets the server back up, I will be repairing that. But it's an effective tunneling machine. It doesn't have any storage for minerals, really. There is a container in there somewhere, but there's no conveyors will do it. It's mostly just to dig out tunnels, not to actually save our mines. Following that, we had another rescue ship when one of my other friends joined the server, so I decided to retrofit it pretty extensively. This is now a general purpose research ship. You can see it's got ore detectors, it's got spotlights, antenna, it's got all sorts of fun shit, and a solar panel just in case. I also added on some lighting. Actually, just from the rear panel, you'll fire it up because most of it's powered down. Doors are on, gravity's off. I'm an idiot. There we go. So you can see it's got marker lights for navigation. So we can see it in the distance as well. We've had trouble with sometimes when somebody takes a ship out, it forgets where they left it. So beacons and lights and things. A little airlock there. And then if I take you around the front here, this is the main door. All my ships I try and have sealed airtight, even though atmospheres aren't a thing yet. It'd be nice just if they do add atmospherics to already be prepared. Got a little sleeping bunk up here, all your storage and everything. So it's a decent little ship. It's meant to be like a self-sustaining sort of exploratory vessel that you can just sort of wander out in space with, except with meteors now it needs some kind of defensive armament or an escort. This is temporary. This is the Great Meteor Barrier. We actually noticed meteors were coming in this end of the asteroid and fucking things up. So in a great panic, we threw down a big shield of light armor because heavy armor takes too long to build and even longer to demolish. This will eventually be a heavy armor door, an actual proper articulated hangar door, because we're going to have a spaceport with the entrance here, because this is actually hollow on the other side. If I fly out, you'll be able to see. And then this will be all parking, docking space for ships as we gradually mine away at the inside of this area and hollow the asteroid out a bit more. And then along the side here will be buildings. At the moment we just got a med bay and another room that hasn't been purposed yet. Sorry about that, game's running a little questionably. We've got 2 cargo containers here. The bottom one is for parts, weapons and so on, tools, the top one is for raw materials. So we got some marker lights, just to be able to tell which way's up, what's going on as you come in. They can also be used as traffic lights. The thing we're going to do is actually this whole area here, from about this mobile base back, is going to be all enclosed station structure. That was a tug we started building but aborted. It kind of got loose and then stuck itself in the corner, so that will eventually be torn down and used as building materials. But we've got this is the beginnings of our station here. So if I just find the door, here we go. So it's built into the asteroid. We've got our med bay here, lots of medical areas because we're going to eventually have quite a few people in here hopefully. And we've got an airlock to the reactor room. This is all it's powering at the moment. I was going to put some large reactors in here, but then I realised I was too lazy to dig it all out, so I just dug it out a little and put some small ones. Just leave the door open for now since it doesn't matter. And this is our newest ship, which is meant to grind at other ships. This is actually going to make the work in the braking yard a lot easier. It's not finished yet. As you can see, it's actually missing a roof in the command deck. And it is powered off, which I didn't expect. There we go. So it's a pretty simple ship. There's not much in here. I was thinking of making it a little bigger, but I'm trying to keep everything small enough that can fit actually within our asteroid so far. Eventually, what I plan on doing, once we get this part of the asteroid plugged up and with the base built in it, and the door and hangar and everything over there, what I'd like to do is get like an actual cluster of sort of permanent beacons and turrets and things set up to form a perimeter around the braking yard so that meteors won't come and smash all our shit. Most of this is sort of floating off serenely into the abyss has been hit by meteors. So I just, before I cut the video, do a quick fly around of our asteroid. It's pretty big. Pretty resource rich, both on the outside and the inside. Some decent sized craters on it. It does get pounded quite a lot by meteors. All those small craters, I think, are recent meteor hits. They weren't there to start with. It was quite smooth. But as long as it's the asteroid getting hit on the outside and not the inside getting hit, I don't mind. So you can see our emergency wall there. It has actually been hit a couple times, but we repaired it. Usually they don't come in that far, but occasionally one or two will find their way in, particularly on this corner here. This is where it actually got hit. So the grand... oh, here comes some meteors now. The master plan is to get established in there, get our base built up and everything, and then sort of get some more people on the server. Maybe not make it public, but definitely get more people playing, just to make things interesting. If we're lucky, we might actually see they're all hitting on the other side or on our asteroid. Quite often, meteor showers all go straight for the... oh, that's what they hit. Never mind. Quite often they'll go for the old asteroid we used to be on, which is why we're no longer there. If I flew for a long enough amount of time in any one direction, I would probably find parts of our old base. I'm not sure if that's a AI ship or if it's part of our base floating off. I think it's an AI ship. But yeah, that's our little survival world so far. We've had it going for probably about a month and a half, 2 months. It's not a bad little thing. We haven't been playing it as much recently. I've been doing more creative stuff than survival, but it's slowly getting there. And it's a lot of fun actually having to really struggle against the elements, in particular meteors and our own stupidity, which is probably more dangerous than the meteors are.